This is a spot where Negreanu is going to be betting small very frequently. He showed that whenever he 4-bet or applied a lot of aggression pre-flop, he was using small bets frequently, and that's a fine strategy that's difficult to really do anything about. Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Little. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We are back with another high stakes $200, $400, no limit Texas Hold'em hand featuring Doug Polk and Daniel Negreanu. This is from their high stakes 25,000 hand challenge. This was from the first 200 hands that took place on PokerGO. You can actually watch all 200 of those hands. Go to PokerGO.com, click on past videos, something like that. It'll be right at the top. And then click on High Stakes Feud. And then you can actually watch all of these 200 hands. And I'm going through over the first few parts of this video series. The rest will be played online. We'll get to those when that happens. So here, Daniel Negreanu has King-9 offsuit. On the button, he raises it up. Doug Polk's 3-bets, Ace-Queen offsuit. And then Daniel Negreanu 4-bets. Let's take a look at these players' pre-flop strategy. Here we have Doug Polk's 3-betting strategy. As you can see, Ace-Queen offsuit elects to 3-bet literally every time. Ace-Queen offsuit's great, so don't be afraid to 3-bet Ace-Queen offsuit. Daniel Negreanu 4-bets. As you can see, King-9 offsuit is a low-frequency 4-bet, only 4% of the time, but, you know, maybe this is the 4%. Daniel Negreanu gets loosey-goosey every once in a while and has a sandwich, so he 4-bets with a King-9 offsuit every now and then, probably more than 4% of the time. And then back to Doug Polk with his Ace-Queen. As you see, Ace-Queen offsuit is a hand that he is going to call literally every single time. I have to presume both players have these charts and similar charts memorized. If you don't have these charts memorized, if you do not know how to play fundamentally sound heads up, and you want to, go to pokercoaching.com/HUNL right now, and you can download all these charts completely for free. So you will know what the players are doing, and you will know how to play well. All right. Doug Polk's going to call, of course. Flop comes Jack 10-3. Doug Polk checks. This is a spot where Negreanu is going to be betting small very frequently. He showed that whenever he 4-bet or applied a lot of aggression pre-flop, he was using small bets frequently, and that's a fine strategy that's difficult to really do anything about because he usually has the range advantage. And when you have the range advantage, you just get to bet frequently using a small size. If he is losing any equity doing this, it's probably going to be minimal. And now back to Doug Polk. He actually cannot raise here all that often because it's very easy for Negreanu to have a lot of pretty strong hands. I mean, if we go back to Negreanu's strategy here to 4-bet, I mean, take a look at it, right? Aces, kings, queens, jacks, 10s, and ace-king make up a large chunk of his range. And on Jack 10 blank, the jacks and 10s are the super nuts. Aces, kings, and queens might as well be the nuts. Ace-king's like a bluff, you know, but these main hands he has have a lot of equity, right? And then if you just look at the smattering of other hands, there's a whole lot of queens, a whole lot of jacks, right? There's also various draws. So this is a spot where Doug Polk really can't do a ton of raising. If you look at Doug Polk's range, as you see, he does have a lot of big cards, but he also has a lot of these like low, trashy hands, right? That are going to be in a pretty rough spot facing this small bet. So he does have to just call. This also will be a hand that he's going to call with virtually every time because if he does call the flop and it checks down, he wins sometimes. He has 4 clean outs. He really doesn't want to get blown off of those. Obviously, he doesn't have 4 outs. This time he has substantially more, but he doesn't know what Negreanu has, of course. So this is a spot where he's going to call very frequently. Turn is a queen. I'm sorry, not a queen. Turn is a 6. Doug Polk with his ace-queen checks. And now it's over to Negreanu, who decides to bet 5,600. This is an interesting spot where whenever you run this scenario through a solver, you're going to find that very often it wants to bet using what's referred to as geometric bet sizing, where it tries to bet the same amount on both the turn and the river. And if you think about Negreanu's stack here on the turn, if he bets something like 12,000 and Polk calls, the pot's going to go up to about 50-something thousand, 55,000 or so. And then they're going to have about 28,000 remaining in their stack, right? So if Negreanu bets half pot on the turn and half pot on the river, it gives Polk roughly the same odds on both betting rounds, which is a strategy the solver very often implements. So Negreanu actually uses a smaller size in this scenario than that. And I don't really have a problem with this because what's going to happen is Polk's going to call very often, but then he's going to be in this scenario on the river with a whole lot of weak hands that can't very competently continue. However, the problem is that he's also going to call with all sorts of like jacks and tens that will now call a river bet. So whenever you do bet small on the turn, you must be highly incentivized to bluff the river. What a lot of people do wrong in this spot is they'll bet small on the turn because they, want to make the cheapest bluff they possibly can. And then on the river, they chicken out. But that would be a big, big error in my mind. So anyway, Doug Polk does call. River's a 4, Polk checks. And now we have the moment of truth. What should Daniel Negreanu do? Take a second, think about it. And, pause the video and type in the comments section below. Would you check here? Would you bet 10,000? Would you bet 20,000? Or would you go all in for 34,000? Actually think about it. Commit to it. Doing this will go a long way to helping you improve your poker skills. All right, did you do it? Did you like that experience? If you did, click like, click subscribe. I would appreciate it. It goes a long way to letting the YouTube overlords know that you enjoy this. All right, on the river, I think Negreanu has a very, very easy bluff. Solver confirms this is also a very, very easy all-in bluff. In this scenario, Negreanu's going to be betting very polarized, which is his best hands and his junk. And if you think about his range, he doesn't actually have all that much junk here. And this puts Doug Polk in a pretty miserable spot. He, of course, has to call with his jacks and better, but he's going to have a whole lot of hands weaker than a jack, especially when he calls Negreanu's small turn bet. Remember, whenever Negreanu bets small, Doug Polk is highly incentivized to call very frequently on the turn like he did. And there's nothing really that Polk can do about this scenario in this hand. This is a spot where when Negreanu takes his aggressive line and is very polarized, he's going to do quite well in these scenarios, I think. And Doug Polk really has no other option but to fold. And while they were playing the game, Doug Polk actually looked like, I'm kind of suspicious of this one, but what can you do to some extent? And he had to let it go. So cool hand. Negreanu's been pretty aggressive in the first 200 hands, generally applying pressure. He's gotten a few bluffs through, gotten a few bluffs caught. Old man gets caught speeding every once in a while. But it's been a fun match, so I'm excited to continue reviewing these hands for you. Thanks very much for watching again. If you want to get a completely free membership to my training site, pokercoaching.com, go to pokercoaching.com/free. Hope you learn a ton. Good luck in your games. Have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.